Hey everyone, it's Nadia from Leah Designs, and I'm back with another tutorial. Today we have a quick little video that we're doing, and it's actually a personal project that I'm working on, but I figured it's a good opportunity for me to talk to you about adding photos to resin, because I still see a lot of people with questions about, how to do that. So I'm going to do a couple different ways here, and we're going to see if there's any real differences, at least with the resin that I'm using. So today what I have is I'm going to be using my little mold, the heart-shaped mold. These are the same ones that I used when I was making the pocket hugs, and they could be used for keychains, they could be used for magnets, purse charms, all kinds of things. So it's a really nice size for that. So the project that I'm going to be working on today is actually a request from my family, my brother specifically. This was their bird. Her name was Tanja, and she was a cockatiel, and she was just the sweetest little thing. Like honestly, like we thought of her as another little person, just kind of, she would literally walk around my parents' house, following them around. She always needed to know where they were. And she just had an amazing personality. She passed away this week, and my parents and my brother, they're actually creating a little memorial for her in their backyard. So they asked if I could put a photo of her in resin, and they asked if I could put it in the little heart mold, and they're going to be adding that to the little memorial that they're creating. So I thought, since I'm going to be working on this, that I can, film it, show you guys, and we can discuss if whether or not there are different ways of doing this. So yeah, so anyways, let me just gather my things and we'll get started. Okay, so to get started, we're first going to need to figure out the size of the heart so that we can cut out the proper size on the photo. So if you've been following my videos for a while, you'll know this trick that I'm going to be showing you. If you're new, this is a great little trick to measure pretty much any of your molds, especially if you're adding, pictures or any type of other material that you need cut to a specific size in order for it to fit in the mold. So I'm just going to be using a piece of acetate. Really, any clear plastic that you have can be used. And in this case, it doesn't even have to be a new piece. It could be, just something that, that you're picking up at from your recycling, or, really any little thing, just because we're not actually going to be putting this in the resin. We're only using it as a template for the photo. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to lay it on top of the mold, and I have a Sharpie here, and we're just going to trace the inside of the mold. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect because this is just giving us a guideline. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to make the guide, sorry, I'm making a mess here, try to make the outline on the inside. So you can see that the white line there is the edge of the mold. So we're going on the inside of that, and that's going to give us a pretty accurate sizing. We could go a little bit smaller as well because we want the photo to inset slightly, because we're going to need to cover the back with resin in order to seal everything in. But for now, let's just use this. I'm only going to need the one today because I'm going to be using the same template for all the photos. I'm actually doing 4 photos today, but just to kind of have some backup pieces and just some keepsakes for the family as well. So we're just going to cut that piece out, and then we cut out our heart. And in this case, again, I'm just going to go slightly inside the black outline, because when we trace around this, obviously that's going to make the outline a little bit bigger again. So all right, so just gonna go around. Okay, cut that piece piece off. There we go. So we have our little heart. Oh, you guys see that? There we go. We have our little heart. And now we take that. And the reason why I really love doing this is because I can now accurately decide where I want the outline to be, because I know I want to capture her sweet little face right here inside the heart. So again, we're going to take our marker and outline. Okay, first mistake. Don't use Sharpie on a photo. I didn't even think about that. Okay, so anyways, good thing I have extras. So what you can see what happened there is when I was dragging the Sharpie around, the marker was actually bleeding under the acetate. So let's not do that. Let's use either a pencil or a pen even. Let's see what I have. I do have a pencil. All right, so let's do this again. So we're just gonna, I was using the marker because I was thinking it was gonna show better on camera, but I just wasn't thinking all the way through there. So with the pencil, it's probably a good idea because you're just indenting the paper more than really marking it. And this way it's kind of invisible. So you can see there, the heart. All right, sorry about that. And I'll just cut this out. Again, on the inside of the line. All right, and there we go. So I'm just going to test this one first to make sure that it fits. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that it sets inside. So I don't know if you can see how it's slightly inside the mold. There's a little lip there, and that's what we need because we need to be able to cover the back with resin as well. So all right, so anyways, I'm just going to quickly cut the other two and I'll be back. Okay, so I have 3 pieces to work with because I damaged one. So, but it should work for what we need for the test here. So what I'm going to do, so normally, and this is just from my experience, the resin that I use, it's an artist type resin, but it's a fast setting resin. Like it sets, I mean, to me, it seems fast. I know there are actual fast setting resins that cure even faster, but with my resin, it's about 8 hours that it cures, and then I can take it out of the mold. So like, and it would be like a hardened finished piece. So to me, that's it's a pretty fast setting in that sense. I know because I'm comparing it to resins that take, 16, 24 hours, some are even longer than that when you get into deep casting resins. So in, relation to those, this is a pretty quick resin. So, and because of that, and because my resin starts to gel within about 20 minutes, I have never found the need to seal pretty much anything that I put into my pieces. So, but I know that some people have said it's necessary for them. So I just really wanted to, and I mean, if you know it's necessary for your pieces, then absolutely 100% still do that. I just wanted to test to see if there would be a difference, because I know it's not necessary for my resin, but I wanted to know if it would make a difference at all in terms of the the finished look or whatever of the piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these and I'm going to top coat it, just kind of clear coat it with my DuraClear gloss varnish, because that is what I use whenever I do need to kind of, have any type of glue or adhesive or whatever in resin. So I'm going to use this, and this should act as a sealant as well. So what I will do, I'm going to just take these two over here and do this on the paper. So what I'll do is I'm going to put a little bit I don't even know if I really should use the cup, but what I'll do is I'll put a little bit on the tissue here and use my brush. And I'm just going to paint it all over the photo. And again, I've never done this, so I don't know what's going to happen, but I figured it was a good time to try it out with you guys here. There you go. And just for the sake of testing, the only place I could imagine being a bit of an issue are these edges. So I'm going to paint these with the varnish as well, just to see if we can get a little bit more of a seal. And this is probably a bad idea because all the varnish has gone through. So, but I didn't want to waste a cup with that, just because I just need a little tiny bit. I'm not going to seal the back because, again, I really just want to see what the front looks like. Actually, you know what? Let's just do it. So pick all this up and we'll just paint the back really quick. And this is a very thin coat, as you can see. Oh, and I've been doing this and you guys can't see. All right. So anyway, sorry about that. And we'll just clean up the front, any bits of varnish. So as I was showing, I just went like this along the edges to just make sure that those were sealed in a little bit as well. Like so. And, oh, I don't want to get any fingerprints on it. So, and that is our little varnish piece. Now, this is the only one I'm going to do with that. I do know it's going to dry clear. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to make a difference. So, but also for those of you who want to know how to top coat or seal your photo, that's what I would recommend. I mean, I think I've heard other people saying Mod Podge works really well for it. So I probably should, but I've personally never tested it because I get a lot of questions about Mod Podge. Like I said, I haven't tested it, but I do know that this works for pretty much everything else that I do with resin. So this doesn't yellow. It doesn't have any other, kind of issues, reactive issues with resin. The only thing is it is a water-based varnish. So you need to make sure it's super, super dry before you add it to resin. I can't stress that enough because it's a water-based varnish. If it isn't fully dried and you put it in resin, it will react. Like resin and water don't like each other, so it will react. You might have curing issues. I think there's also issues with cloudiness. So just make sure it's super dry. Like normally I will, especially if I'm painting stained glass pieces or anything where there's a lot of my varnish, like this is a very thin coat. It's going to be dry in like 20 minutes, like bone dry in 20 minutes. But like I said, if it's anything thicker than that, I usually leave it at least 4 to 6 hours or even overnight if possible. So just wanted to mention that really quick. But like I said, we're going to leave this, and it's starting to stick to my fingers. I'm going to leave this to dry. And like I said, for these two, I'm not going to do it, just so I have two that don't, and we can compare them, and I'll have an extra. So in any case, the next steps from here, once this is dry, is I will be just pouring clear resin into the molds, and then I will be taking my picture and I'll be coating it. I mean, you guys will see it in the time lapse, but just so I can explain what I will be doing, I will be coating the photo with resin before I put it into the resin, and that's hopefully going to prevent any bubbles, but there's always a chance for when you're placing something upside down into resin, there's always a chance that you might get a little pocket of air or something. And I'm, usually tapping it or pushing the picture into the resin is going to help with that. And that's what you'll see me doing as well, hopefully in the time lapse. So, like I said, I'm going to fill this and then coat this with resin, put it down, smush it in a little bit. And then I will be taking more resin and then putting it up at the back. I haven't quite decided. I might put a little bit of glitter on the back as well, or something to just kind of, I don't want to put anything pigmented in, because that might actually, you know, run into the front of the piece. So it would just be clear, or just, you know, a little bit of, you know, some kind of glitter or something that won't move around too much. But anyway, so that's what's going to happen. So yeah, so I'm gonna let this dry, and then we'll go into a time lapse, and then we'll see how everything turns out at the end. Okay, so I'm just about ready to start the resin, but I wanted to quickly just show you the one that has the varnish has now dried. So I don't know if I can catch the light. You can kind of see the brush strokes a bit, but I'm pretty sure those are going to disappear once it's in resin. And the way that I decided to mark this one so that we know this is the one with the varnish on it, because the other two don't have. So I put this little dot on the back here just so you guys can see it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one in the third spot. So when I do the time lapse, you'll know it's the third one. And then also what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to leave the back of this one clear, so we can still see the dot, and the back of these two are going to have this glitter here. So then we could also compare that as well, the difference between having, you know, glitter on the back compared to not. So in any case, that is the plan. So let's get to the time lapse. Okay, so it's the next morning and we're ready to get these out. I did end up adding a little bit of glitter to this one, but I left the bottom open so we could see the dots. So this way we know for sure that that's still the one that we varnished. So let's go ahead and see what we have. Oh, big bubble. So we have this one here. And like I said, we got a big bubble in there, but it turned out all right. Hopefully not all of them have bubbles. And we have this one here, and now I kind of regret doing the glitter, but it's a little sparkly. And we have this one here, which is the, actually it turned out, I mean, I have to cut off all, this is the excess. I actually, when I went and added the glitter to this one, it overflowed the mold a little bit, so that's why we have all this extra. So I can just trim that off, but as you can see, but if, like I said, like besides the glitter, I probably shouldn't have done it that way. It's funny, I've done it before and the glitter didn't seep under so much. I'm not really sure why it did that this time. And even like on this one, you can see I added the glitter, but it didn't still go to the front. So if we actually compare the three, you know, actually, like I said, like, I mean, the little bit of glitter in here, I mean, it wasn't with what I wanted, but it doesn't look bad either. But still, like, I think I will be making more to kind of, you know, just have some without that on it. But yeah, so like I said, and this one did end up with a bubble, and that does happen sometimes when you're putting photos into resin. Like, as much as you try not to have that happen, it does happen sometimes. This one's not too bad, the location of the bubble, at least it's not on her face, but it's still not the ideal solution here. And like I said, the glitter, you know, it's all right. So but this one, as you can see, in terms of the varnish, you can see that this one, let's see if I can get them closer and actually be in focus, but the three, like, it actually looks the same. There's no difference between having the varnish on this and how these ones turned out. And again, that's my resin. So like I said, if your resin, my resin for because it cures so quickly, I don't believe it has a lot of time to actually try to absorb into the paper. And these were actual professionally printed photographs, like at a photo center. It wasn't off my home printer or anything like that. So that could make a difference as well, because the quality of the photo paper. But like I said, if you're unsure, you know, then you can definitely go ahead and do the varnish. Like I said, it doesn't show any difference between, you know, any of the pieces. So anyways, just to kind of show you guys what they look like, how the photos work. And like I said, they work perfectly well. So if you want to add photos to your resin pieces, definitely feel free to do that. There's no reason to really to be worried or scared. But I would say, if you're doing especially, you know, small pieces like this where you can make multiples of them, just so that you can have, you know, backups in case one doesn't work exactly as you like, then that's probably the best thing. Because like I said, in this case, I'm probably going to end up using the one that we varnished, just because it has, you know, less of the glitter on it. It has a little tiny bit. I don't know if you can see that. I did add a little tiny bit of just some really, really ultra fine iridescent glitter in there, just to have a little bit of sparkle. But these ones obviously have a lot more. So, but I'm probably going to end up using this one, and I'm going to probably end up making more of these at a later time. But anyways, guys, like I said, I don't want you to be afraid of adding photos or pretty much anything to resin. As long as it doesn't have any water content in it, we're pretty much safe to try that and see how it works. And yeah, and doing little experiments like this, I think, is a good way for us to learn as well, because that's how we grow, is by trying things and learning. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna get going. I'm actually taking these right now to my parents so that they can have it added to Tanja's memorial. And you know, we hope she rests in peace, and that this little memento, you know, commemorates her a little bit. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have tried Mod Podge or any other types of varnishes with your resin pieces, let me know which ones have worked successfully or which ones actually haven't worked successfully, because it's good for us to know which ones we should be working with or not. Like I said, I know I trust DuraClear varnish, but if there are other ones out there for sure that we know work, we can definitely recommend those for those who might have difficulty finding the ones that I recommend. And for any of the materials that you're looking for in this video, I mean, I didn't use a lot for this one, but any materials in any of my videos, that if you want to know what I'm working with, I do have links in the description, as well as any discount codes if I have them. So anyways, guys, don't forget to leave me a comment and let me know what you thought of the video. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.